You never hear the one that's getting dogged out say they left too soon. It's always the one that was on some foolery, that was doing the disrespect, and that was doing the violating, and was doing all of the disrespectful stuff to their partner and left. Those are the ones that was like, yeah, you know what? I should have stayed and did this. I should have stayed and worked it out. They're the ones that regret losing you. What's going on, everybody? This your man Lucky. If you are a man in a relationship and you're trying to decide whether you should stay in that relationship or whether or not you should go, this is a video for you. Listen, most men, right? Let's be real. Most men are not ready for the breakup unless you're the one that's, making the breakup. And even then, if you're the one that's making the breakup, you're the one that's initiating the breakup. Usually you're initiating that breakup because of something that you found out happened that you wasn't prepared for. And so now you got to get up out of there. And so usually if you wasn't prepared for the information that you found out, then usually you're not prepared to get up out of there. It came out of the blue. You wasn't expecting it. And, usually you're not going to prepare yourself for the worst. Now, of course, that's always the best thing to do. But let's be honest. For most guys that are in long-term relationships, or most guys that are married, who, especially married guys who have never been through a divorce before or a separation before, a lot of times you're just really not prepared to make that move, okay? If and when you're in a situation, right, you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, and you start to question the relationship, you start to question the marriage, you start to question whether or not you still want to be in this situation, in this relationship, you need to start preparing yourself for the worst. I'm not saying that as a man, you should run from your responsibilities. I'm not saying as a man, you should just walk away from the commitments that you make. However, this is reality, and we have to be prepared for the things that could potentially come our way. You don't want to get caught off guard. You don't want to get caught, period, in the situation, but you definitely don't want to get caught off guard to where now you have to be stuck in a situation that you do not want to be in. There are many men that are stuck in situations that they just feel as though they can't get out of because the financial obligations that are involved, the emotional attachment that they have, whatever it is. A lot of men are in situations that they just feel trapped and they feel like they can't get out. If you're in that situation, guys, you got to start preparing yourself to get up out of there. Even if you're not yet in the situation, you should have, a means to get up out of that situation should something go wrong. Again, I'm not saying like you should project and say like, yo, something is going to happen in the future, but you just have to be ready. Okay. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Now, if you are questioning whether or not you want to stay in that situation or stay in your relationship or stay in your marriage, you need to weigh the pros and the cons. Weigh the pros and cons carefully, okay? Don't stay in a bad situation simply because you getting that apple pie, you getting that good, you getting that hot box, whatever you want to call it, okay? Don't stay in that situation where mentally and emotionally you're being abused, but because of the desire that you have for that apple pie, for that good, for that hot box, whatever it is that you call it, y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't stay in a situation where you're being mentally and emotionally abused simply because you don't want to give up that good. It's not worth it. Trust me, it's not worth it. Listen, let it go, walk away. I talk about this all the time. There are too many of your guys that are just staying in situations that are not conducive to a good mental health situation. A lot of you guys, when you hear people talk about mental health, because I was like this, and I think a lot of people are like this, when you hear about issues with mental health, you're thinking way down the line when it comes to mental health, like somebody who's just lost it. Like you see them on the street, you look at them and you know straight up that they're off their rocker. But I'm not when I'm talking about mental health, I'm just talking about simple things that you probably don't even think of, like depression, Things like anxiety and stuff like that, right? Especially though, like depression. There are a lot of levels of depression. People deal with depression in different ways, but a lot of people are in a state of depression and don't even realize it. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, if you're depressed, that just means you're weak. You're mentally weak. Listen, it happens. It happens, especially when it comes to your emotions, man. When it comes to your emotional attachment to a woman, your lady, your wife, whatever it is. A lot of you guys are broke, busted, and disgusted, man, in situations that you feel like you cannot get out of. And it's not healthy simply because you don't want to walk away from that good. See, you might get that good every now and then, and you're staying in a situation that you're in that's not healthy just because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You really have to weigh the pros and the cons, man. If the only pro that you can come up with is that, oh, you getting that good. And if you walk away, you don't know what the future holds. You don't know if you're going to be able to find another woman with that good. It's not worth it. I promise you it's not worth it. Stop staying just for that, man. Listen, let me tell you something. If you're in a situation where you're not walking away just because you're thinking in your mind, like, when am I going to get some next time? If I walk away from this situation, you're pedestalizing that woman, and you never pedestalize. You never, ever, listen. You treat her like a celebrity, she gonna treat you like a fan. I know y'all hear that all the time, but it's reality. It's 100% reality. You have absolutely no leverage in the situation. And I'm telling you this, I can guarantee you this. If you're staying in a situation where you're allowing bad behavior, you will only continue to get bad behavior, and it will only get worse going down the line, no matter how much you try. I get it, man. You just want to be in a situation where you love, man. You love her and you want her to love you back like y'all used to be in love with each other, man. Used to be is gone. She used to love you. She don't love you no more. You got to live in the now. Stop holding on to the past, man. Let it go. She don't feel the same way that she feel about you anymore, man. This is a new day. What has she done for you lately? How has she treat you lately? This is what matters. Let me tell you something, man. Listen, that good ain't worth it, man. I'm telling you, it's not. Listen, work on yourself and build yourself up to be the best version of yourself. There's a reason why you have her on a pedestal. There's a reason why you have that thing on a pedestal. You are staying in a situation simply because you letting your lust and your desires overtake your logic, and it doesn't make sense. You living off of emotion, and that's not how you're supposed to live. I'm telling you, when you make decisions based off of your emotions, you would lose every time. You got to start thinking logically. Do not stay in a situation that does not serve you. It doesn't make sense. Forget about that good. Listen, man, build yourself up, man. Work yourself up to be the best version of yourself, man. Get on your grind, get on your purpose, man. Take care of yourself, get in the gym, work out, you know what I'm saying? Groom yourself, man. Make sure you look good, you smell good and all that, man. Don't worry about that, man. You ain't got, man, that good gonna come. It's gonna come your direction. You don't have to worry about it, man. You don't chase it. A lot of you guys are in relationships. A lot of you guys are in marriages where you're chasing the very woman that you call yours. Why would you have to chase a woman? Period. But why would you chase yours? If she's yours, she's supposed to be yours. She's not going to treat you disrespectful. She's not going to be disloyal. She's not going to violate you or none of that. If you're thinking about whether or not you should leave the relationship, why are you thinking about it? What is it? What is happening in the relationship that you want to end the relationship, or you want to end the marriage? Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Now look, maybe it's you. Maybe you just don't want to be in the situation no more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she don't look the same, or maybe she didn't gain weight, or maybe you just go in a different direction in life. Okay, that's one thing. But I mean, if you're in a relationship, man, and the woman is not treating you right, and it just does not make any sense for you to be in a relationship, but you're staying because you're trying to get you some action on a regular basis, it does not make sense. It does not make sense. It's not a smart thing. Look, guys, I'm not going to hold you up. I don't want to keep talking about this over and over, but there are so many of you guys out there that, and listen, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I've been there for about that long. I tell you that, man. But I have been there. I was like, yeah, nah. You understand what I'm saying? But I will say this. If you've been in a situation before where you had to walk away or leave a relationship or whatever, if you've done it before, of course it's going to be easier to do it a second or third time because you already know what the outcome is going to be. Hey, You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hit rock bottom. I'm gonna have to start over from scratch. I'm gonna have to rebuild myself. My credit is gonna tank. I'm gonna have build whatever. But you know that you can build yourself up because you've already done it. But if you're a man who, you know what I'm saying, this is your first marriage or your first long-term relationship, and you're just like, it just feels like the end of the world. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Trust me, you can get through it. Plenty of people have gotten through it. You can get through it. It's gonna be rough. It ain't gonna be easy depending on how deep you're in it. You know, if you're a married man and you got all kind of mortgages, car notes, and all that kind of stuff, man, yeah, it's going to hurt. But trust me, the peace of mind that you end up with at the end, when it's all said and done, is priceless. I'm telling you. And you would never be able to achieve that level of calmness and that level of peace if you stay in the situation that you in just for a little bit of action. It doesn't make sense. Get control of your desires, man. Weigh the pros and cons. And I'm telling you, if the cons outweigh the pros, you got to get up out of there. And I'm going to tell you, if you stay in that situation, the cons are going to remain the same. Listen, when a woman doesn't respect you, man, the only thing that you can do is leave. If she doesn't respect your presence, make her feel your absence. See, that's the only thing that makes people change anyway. If you really understand, human psychology, that's the only thing that's going to make somebody change anyway, is if they actually lose you. If you stay in that situation and you're always there, you're always going to get the same behavior because you're always there. You got to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Let that woman miss you. Let that woman realize, like, yo, you know what? I was bugging. Man, what was I thinking? That's what you got to do. Get up out of there, man. Listen, your self-esteem has gotten so low because you're afraid to lose that woman. When you're afraid to lose something, you become a slave to it. When you're afraid to lose money, you become a slave to money. When you're afraid to lose a woman, you become a slave to that woman. When you're afraid to lose a job, you become a slave to that job. Whatever it is that you are afraid to lose, you become a slave to. And that's just it. You becoming a slave to that woman simply because you don't want to lose that good. You don't want to lose out on that apple pie. Or maybe you just selfish. You don't want nobody else to have the apple pie. There's people out there doing that. There's men out there like that. Well, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it no more, but I don't want nobody else to have it. I'm just... Come on, man. Your self-esteem is in the basement. Guys, listen, man, like I said before, man, I'm going to get up out of here. But listen, guys, if you're in a situation where you've thought twice about whether or not you should stay in that situation or whether or not you should leave, more than likely you're at the point where you should leave. More than likely the situation is at the point where you need to exit. More than likely the marriage is at the point where it might not be able to be fixed. There are so many people who have stayed and stayed and stayed. And after X amount of years, when it has finally all just tanked, they sat back and they looked and said, yo, I wasted X amount of time. I wasted X amount of time. You rarely hear, I'm not going to say rarely because you do hear about it sometime, but it's less likely that you hear somebody say, I left too soon, especially when it's the one that's getting dogged out. You never hear the one that's getting dogged out say they left too soon. It's always the one that was on some foolery, that was doing the disrespect and that was doing the violating and was doing all of the disrespectful stuff to their partner and left. Those are the ones that was like, yeah, you know what? I should have stayed and did this. I should have stayed and worked it out. They're the ones that regret losing. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You got to leave. That's the only way that they're going to feel what it is that they're doing. That's the only way they're going to feel the consequences is when you leave. Then they realize like, yo, you know what? I messed up. You never hear the one that was violated talking about, oh, I left too soon. No, you always hear the one that was violated talking about, I stayed too long. Am I right or am I right? I'm going to let y'all go, man. Y'all think about that, though. Y'all think about that. I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all be good.